Welcome to another episode of Follow the Brand TV. I am your host, Grant McGaugh, CEO of 5-Star BDM, a 5-star personal brand and business development company. I want to take you on a journey through another deep dive into the world of personal branding and business development using compelling personal stories, business conversations, and tips to improve your brand. By listening to the Follow the Brand TV series, you will differentiate yourself from the competition and build trust with prospective clients and employers. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Make it one that will set you apart, build confidence, and reflect who you are. Building your 5-star personal brand is a great way to improve your skills and knowledge. If you have any questions for me or any of my guests, please email me at grant.mcgaugh@5starbdm.com. Now, let's begin with our next episode on the Follow the Brand TV.
Five-Star BDM, Brand Development Masters, is a professional consulting and advisory group keenly focused on business development services for the small to mid-sized business and entrepreneurs. Although every business is unique, they often share business development challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. Services include process improvement and operations, digital strategy and transformation, business intelligence, digital marketing, and personal branding. Our business and personal branding company has helped a number of professionals and organizations to optimize and grow. This results in more business, more opportunities, better reach, positive outcomes. Visit www.5starbdm.com today to learn more.
A lot of people being more and more aware of how these threat actors are going after people daily, every second. I mean, one thing that people aren't, they might not be familiar with is called phishing emails, right? Where they send you information, try to get you to click on a link where it's an offer or something like that. But 3.4 billion phishing emails are sent daily, right? Think about that. And they're saying for organizations, the average cyber attack is called a data breach, is costing $4.5 million to an organization.
Welcome, everybody, to the Follow Brand Podcast. This is your host, Grant McGaugh. I get an opportunity to talk about business, and I'm going to talk about technology and kind of what glues them together, and that is data. And if we're going to talk about data, we've got to talk about cybersecurity, because you've got to secure your data. Data is the new oil. You've heard that maybe over and over again, but really, when you start adding up the numbers, it actually is. You look at the NASDAQ, you look at the stock exchange, you look at the bigger companies that are on that list, and they are all data companies. They're doing something in technology that's changing and impacting our world, and we've got to find ways to secure that data so we continuously grow on these platforms. I'm going to introduce you to someone I met maybe 4 or 5, maybe even longer than that, years ago. And I met him, and he's talking about emerging technologies. The guy is genius when it comes to that. I sit back and I just take a seat and I listen. I listened to him talk about how this world is changing and how we're going to be able to really secure certain aspects of our data. Now, he's got a rich background. I'm going to let him tell you about that. We're going to get this thing rolling and we're going to get started. So you're going to understand after you get done with this, why you need to secure your data at a high level moving forward. So, John, you'd like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thanks a lot, Grant. I think you went over the top there, but that's okay. So my name is John Raleigh. I've been in the software application space for about 24 years now. Worked for some companies like Oracle and SAP in consulting services and education services, digital transformation, user adoption, and got into a lot of innovative technology when I met Grant, I think back in 2017, when blockchain was really starting to kick off here in South Florida. It was really big. A lot of people wanted to know about it. I was, more on the enterprise blockchain side and less on the crypto side, but I was also in both of them. But as time started going on, I really started getting more into AI and data optimization, data visualization, digital twins. And then really you start seeing when this innovative technology started coming on board, there was a huge need for securing that data. Now, a lot of people used to look at blockchain was a way of securing it. Well, it was more of a way of just tracking and securing the audit trail, right? But when you really look at securing your data, that's where cybersecurity has really started to come on up aboard and become, I'd say, more prevalent to everyone in the industry that has innovative technology that they're implementing or are really trying to protect what they already have. So you look at financial, healthcare, all these industries that you've been hearing about having cyber attacks are now being more focused on cybersecurity. So recently I was able to come on board and support the Levant Center of Innovation with the cybersecurity range and helping them with their services around it and making people more aware of what's out there that's going to be hurting them, but also getting them more and more prepared for it.
Man, and I'm gonna tell you something, John. When I look behind you and I see that screen, I'm like, what the heck is going on back there? And so
Yeah.
we want to frame this story around cybersecurity, cyber warfare, cyber attacks. What is the big problem that's out there?
It's a lot of them, right? A lot of it's an awareness, right? It's a lot of people being more and more aware of how these threat actors are going after people daily, every second. I mean, one thing that people aren't, they might not be familiar with is called phishing emails, right? Where they send you information, try to get you to click on a link where it's an offer or something like that. But 3.4 billion phishing emails are sent daily, right? Think about that. 3.4 billion phishing emails are sent daily. That means from your personal email accounts to your work email accounts, these threat actors are going after us. They're trying to find that little niche that gets your attention and make you click on it so they can get into your systems. Now, it's just really one way of doing it, but it's one of the most famous ways a lot of people are getting in. Along with the other one would be social engineering, where they're really even profiling you and your habits and the sites you go to, the people you talk to on LinkedIn, the people you talk to on Facebook, and seeing your patterns and going after you that way through its personal information.
I've heard that. I've had a couple of different conversations around how they're utilizing AI, they're utilizing machine learning, they're utilizing these same tools that are for the good, but for the bad, right? Because you can take any type of device or tool and use it positively or negatively. I even heard this stat that the average breach is causing, just like people like you and me, $1,800 per incident. $1,800. You have to ask yourself, can you afford to lose $1,800 out of your cash flow right this second? And it goes back to what you're talking about, awareness. Talk to me a little bit more about that.
And that's the thing, right? You brought up a good point, Grant, because IBM released their global cybersecurity report, and they're saying for organizations, the average cyber attack is called a data breach is costing $4.5 million to an organization. The average cost of a data breach. Now, that's huge, right? I mean, for people, it's 1,800. For an organization, it's average 4.5 million globally. So when you kind of put those numbers in there, when you talk about awareness, this is where before people are thinking, oh, I don't need training on this. I don't need cybersecurity training. Why do we need to spend money on our cybersecurity? Here's the thing, right? And then we've had conversations with executives in here, and it's asking them, okay, would you rather pay $4.5 million in a cyber breach or budget $250,000 to $300,000 a year to really have cybersecurity awareness for your teams, training, and software to be implemented. And that's where it kind of hits them, right? Because when it's all said and done and they have that cyber breach, they're going to look back and they go, I should have just spent the extra $300,000 a year on my cyber training and awareness for my teams and getting up to speed to maybe have stopped this attack sooner than what happened. Because the average time it takes to even detect and to even know you have a cyber breach is average 277 days on average, right? We've seen and heard of companies that where the people were in their systems for 2 years without them knowing it, right? And they found that out a year after the attack happened. So those are things when you think about it of someone could be in your system right now, this very moment, and you wouldn't even know it. And those people that did that breach was on a news organization where they got passports, social security numbers, social media passwords, home addresses. And that's the scary thing. And these were threat actors that were working for China at the time. So now China has their personal information. And that's how scary it's becoming, right? It's becoming these threat actors, it's almost a business for them, where they're really setting up a negotiator, someone who collects the money, somebody who does the attacks. And it's really becoming more of a business for a lot of them.
Oh, big business, $6 trillion business just in cyber hack. That world, talking about it, it is $6 trillion. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of incentive. And these guys are utilizing these tools. And that's what gives like these words like cryptocurrency, blockchain bad names, because like, oh, these actors are utilizing that platform to extract the money and then disappear, more or less,
Absolutely.
if they can, right?
Yeah, and they're doing it more and more, right? I mean, some of the big attacks out there, I mean, recently Boeing, right? Boeing, who has millions of dollars, they've been cyber attacked before, got hit last week where it even shut down their supply website, right? I mean, and this was a ransomware attack where they send you a thing, they lock you out of your data, they prove to you that they have their data, and then once they proved it, they wound up paying the ransom because they knew they couldn't wait, right? So this is how these organizations know this. Once these guys get in there and they find that threat and really find that niche, this is $1 billion corporation, right? They could be spending tons and tons of money on cybersecurity infrastructure and awareness and training and everything that comes along with it, right? They get hacked. I mean, and it's not a matter of always if, people say it's when, right? Because even our infrastructure in the government, 7 government agencies got hit in July. Now you got to realize, I mean, Department of Energy was one of them. If these organizations who focus on cybersecurity every single day can still get breached, just think that you definitely can get breached. And this, I mean, their budgets are focused on cybersecurity training and locking things down and awareness and all things that come with it. So if they can infiltrate these agencies that focus on it, think of your company or your organization of how secure are you, right? And then when is it going to happen? Because a lot of these CEOs that wake up, case in point, MGM Grand a couple months about in September, that cyber attack cost them $100 million, right? $100 million it cost them. And on top of that, $10 million just to get cybersecurity experts and lawyers to help them get out of the mess. So in essence, they spent $110 million on that one cyber attack that shut all the MGM studios down nationwide.
Welcome to the world's first theme park for entrepreneurs, the Alan B. Levan NSU Broward Center of Innovation. Imagine a giant collision station forcing entrepreneurs to collide with academia, industry, government, funders, and a whole lot more. The Levan Center of Innovation is a public-private partnership between Nova Southeastern University and Broward County government, the only model in the nation to serve entrepreneurs from birth of an idea through successful exit or global expansion with customized programs, events, and services. This 54,000 square foot custom-built facility provides access to emerging technologies, including the region's only military-grade cybersecurity range, training industry and government clients right here in Broward County. Additionally, we have the region's only artificial intelligence digital cities lab in partnership with Dell Technologies, and Broward County is now home to the first publicly accessible volumetric capture studio in partnership with Sony. The Levan Center is linking Broward County to the entire world with our country desk model, whereby we form agreements with innovative nations from around the world to import and export the entrepreneurial ecosystem. This is your passport to the world, right here in Broward County. This is just the beginning, and you have an opportunity to be involved and build this economic and education development engine with local, regional, national, and international impact. Are you ready to participate?
By building strong relationships with potential customers and demonstrating its value, my client was able to close more sales, drive a 200% increase in revenue, and establish a loyal customer base. And then talk about cyber insurance. Because you got to think about this. Your data, think of it like as money in the bank. You got your money, yes. You got it in the bank, and then you want to make sure it's secured. And your money, if the bank gets robbed, you have FDIC. Typically, you're going to get your money back because it's insured by the federal government. Your data, a lot of times, doesn't have that kind of protection. So you go out, you get cyber insurance and things of that nature. But you got to think about this. Like if your data is like money and it's in your home, which is your business, how secure is it? You don't just leave the front door of your home unlocked all the time. Now, in certain communities, maybe you can get away with that. A lot of other communities, you don't. You lock your door, you lock things up, you make sure. Go ahead.
No, you're making a great point on that, right? I mean, so you look at people thinking cybersecurity insurance is what's going to save them, right? That's going to be but you got to realize to even get cybersecurity insurance, they have to validate, one, that you're certified in certain areas, and two, that you already haven't been breaching, your data is not out there on the black web, right? So they do this background check on that for just to get insured by cybersecurity insurance. One of the great things about the Levant Center Cyber Range here is we have a partnership with Box Insurance, who's very big in cybersecurity insurance. And if you're taking training classes through our cyber range, they'll give you a discount on your cyber insurance. So for us, we look at partnering with experts in the industry in these areas that have this expertise to really help people and their organizations understand, here's what you need to be prepared for, here's what you need to do. And when it comes to cyber insurance, if you're able to get this awareness training and up to date and your teams are up to date, you'll also get a discount on this. And it's really making sure, as you know, like the cyber ends, that we're aligning people with the right experts to get them that insight so they are preparing and becoming more aware of where they fit in their cybersecurity awareness training.
Let's unpack that just a little bit. You're there at the Levant Center Cyber Range. That's at the campus of Nova Southeast University. Right. Very, very beautiful location there at the Innovation Center, but you have a particular niche there in the cyber range. Talk to me about some of the objectives of the cyber range and why that's important for these leaders of corporations.
No, not a problem. I mean, really, the biggest thing we focus on is skills and assessment training, executive senior leadership briefings, which is very, very important. It really kind of sets the first domino in that, right? Because without the executives on board understanding where they fit in the cybersecurity as far as the posture for their company and what the responsibilities are, the rest of the company needs to follow. So, and really, in this essence, this really needs to be led from the top down, right? Especially when it comes to cybersecurity. And we also, cybersecurity governance, awareness training, risk mitigation, also virtual lab scenario-based test and deployment. So allowing you to bring your environment in. We have a closed off environment where the servers are on site. It's not in the cloud. So it allows you to bring your environment here and play around with it and do it really the testing, what they call your incident response testing, right? Really be able to say, hey, if we were hit, whose responsibility is this, whose responsibility is this, and whose responsibility is this, and really gonna go through that scenario to see if it will really stand up in a simulated cyber attack. And really the business continuous operations of where do we fit as an organization, what should be our process for continuing training throughout the year, and not looking at it, hey, it's just a 1 month thing. It's really continue of, hey, if it's this quarter, next quarter we're gonna do this. If it's not, I'm gonna have my people get training this month. And you got to realize cybersecurity now, if you look in the industry, is highly demanded job roles, right? So you look at the chief information security officers right now, those CISOs, they call them, are really in high demand, especially experienced ones. But a lot of CISOs right now have a lot of pressure on them. And there's the challenge, right? Because they have the shoulders, the weight of the company regarding on them to going, hey, you're responsible for security. Well, recently, and this is kind of what we do in our cyber awareness training with executives, is now executives are being held accountable for cyber breaches, right? They're being held accountable if they weren't a part of implementing their incident response plans, is making sure that they knew who was responsible for what. SEC is coming in and finding them as well. Case in point, organization SolarWinds, if you haven't heard, back in like 2021 was hacked. SEC just came out, I think, a month ago, and they're going after the executives and the CISO for that cyber attack.
No, that's very important. I want our audience to really tune into that you are responsible for your data footprint. And if your particular business operations affects other business operations, you can be liable because it came from your lack of digital hygiene, for so to speak, right? So, but some of the things that happen at the range that I really, really like is that you take them through scenarios, real life, real time. Because everybody says, I talk to business owners like, all right, what's your business continuity plan? What's your disaster cover? And they whip out something from 2018 or whatever, like, here it is, right here, we're ready to go. Yeah. So, well, when is the last time have you tested it? And the test, maybe they just go through a checklist. And maybe they all get into like a little, boardroom, and then everybody goes through their role, and that's it. Yeah. Talk to us about what you're doing.
So that, I mean, you're talking about the tabletop exercise kind of in a way, right? So you go in the boardroom, the old way was, you go through your checklist. Yep, I'm going to do this. Yep, you'll do that next. And okay, well, in real life, that's not realistic, right? When you come to our cyber range, we really kind of put you through the scenario, and even going through the role playing of, here it is, here's a cyber attack, here's what happened. What do you do next, right? And you get to even go through it on the screen through the exercises, and everybody that's in the room with you is going through it as well. So it really kind of brings a very real feeling in our cyber range. Maybe before we get done, I'll try to turn my camera around and show you the whole thing. It's closed off. So a lot of people, when they walk in here, they feel like, hey, I feel like I just walked into the Pentagon, right? You feel like you're really in a private room because there's no windows in here. The doors, the window on the door is blocked out. And it just has this feeling with the screens and all the, the monitors on the desk allows you to say, hey, okay, I'm really coming in here to get something done today. And if it's a real scenario and it was a real cyber attack that was going on, your team would need to have kind of what they call a war room, right? Where they're all in there at the same time, talking, communicating, making sure everybody's on top of everything, but also going through that list and having people respond and answer and knowing, here's my responsibility, that's your responsibility. Here's what we need to notify. Here's everything. Here are the notifications that need to go out for the awareness, whether it needs to be for executives, it's the FBI, the FTC, the board members, the legal team, but understanding that structure and be able to do it quickly, right? I'm former military, so I was in the Marines, right? And the big thing is always muscle memory, right? Being able to do it so consistently that it's muscle memory. Like if you close your eyes, you would know where to even hit the button on your laptop to send the email, to give a notification that you'd been breached, and for the FBI to be noticed, right? It was the biggest thing. People laugh and think about, those things can happen. They can happen, right? I mean, you look at critical infrastructure. There was recently a conference on critical infrastructure in Miami that talked about a lot of these things that could happen when they shut those things down, and you don't have cell phone service, you don't have any way of notifying people, if your contingency plan isn't in place to handle that, you can imagine what's going to happen, right? What is your backup plan, right? You don't have a cell phone. Do you have a walkie-talkie? You don't have a walkie-talkie? Do you have a satellite phone? Do you have this, right? Thinking in that such a manner of worst case scenario. Because when it actually happens, right, no one's ever expecting it. When CEOs get up in the morning, they go into work, last thing on their mind is, oh, I'm going to have a cyber attack today. But ask those CEOs that have been hacked what that feeling is like, right? One, now their reputation has been tarnished, right? Because they were the ones leading the ship when it happened. And if they weren't leading it in a way that they were aware of it, it's their fault, right? The buck stops with them at the end of the day. Whether they want to say it was my CISO's responsibility or not, the buck is stopping with them. And they need to be accountable for, okay, I should have been more aware of it. I could have took parameters. I could have sent my people more to training or awareness training. I could have my team more trained or certified in certifications. So how do we help them? And that's what we bring here at the Cyber Range is that awareness of not a way to scare the C-suite team or the executives. It's the understanding of here's what the new regulations are holding you accountable for. Did you understand this, right? Because it wasn't always this way, right? So do you understand now that you are being viewed in this way? And this is where the things that these are the fallback or the blowbacks that are going to happen after a cyber attack, right? And it's kind of getting them to understand that. And the last executive, when we did the executive briefing, by the time we got done, he was telling his team, I want to have 50 stripped laptops in a closet that's ready to go if it ever happens to hand out to people for hacked, right? I don't want anything on them but logins for them to get into so they can take them if we're ever breached so they can go off site and still continue working. So he was, after we got done, he already started thinking, what's my contingency plan, right? It starts becoming that important for your teams, especially the critical people that are keeping the ship afloat.
Oh, I'm a Midwest boy through and through. I grew up in Detroit, outside Detroit. I was born in Chicago, but I went to school in Indiana and Missouri, or Missouri as I fondly call it. No offense to any Missourians, but yeah, it was a great young life in the Midwest. The value I think I bring and what I've learned is how to, again, navigate these diverse relationships that exist in healthcare and really project manage at a level to make change happen. And that really is synonymous with information technology and digital today. Simplification and overall getting access to the right care at the right time, at the right place is absolutely critical.
So community care plan, we're a health plan, and we do several different lines of business. We have Medicaid members that we take care of in Broward County. We have the uninsured that we also take care of in Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County. We also do our own our parent hospital, Memorial Healthcare System, that has all their employees, and we serve the health plan for all of them as well. personal health information is very important to us. It's important to the government, HIPAA compliance. You want to make sure that we're protecting people's information.
Often when I pitch an idea or I'm looking to do something, I don't talk about the technology. I talk more about the benefits and kind of seeing the future. For us, it was about how do we get the computer out of the physician's hands and get them back to laying hands on patients where they have conversations and discussions and do medicine again.
Business continuous operations, because once you do get that breach, that means it's just like a battleship, right? And you just taking on a hit, from an enemy battleship, let's just say, and you're taking on water, and you're sinking into water, and you're going to have to repair it as quickly as you can. But at the same time, you've got to have information that goes out to your employees. They got to understand what's happening. You've got to also get ready for the press releases. You've got to deal with the outside contingencies that are going to happen as well, depending on the complexity of your organization and where it sits and what it does. There's another service that you provide that I think would be very, very interesting to our business owners, because like they say, hey, you know what? I don't have much of a team when it comes to cybersecurity or even IT of itself. Do you have outsourced security operations that could possibly be utilized from the Levant Center? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so we have a lot of partnerships, what we call value-added resellers or managed service providers, right? This is where we like to align with people that have this skill set. We can direct companies saying, hey, you might have a small team, but we have a team that we partner with that has this expertise that can support your environments and your team as you're growing, especially for entrepreneurs as they're growing, right? They don't have this capital to have a CISO or a VP of IT or they have an IT person director that's wearing 10 different hats, right? But to manage that system continually, you really need to partner with experts that know about that. So having managed service providers on I'd say, partnered with us allows us to direct people to the right experts, not just anyone, right? The right experts that know what they're talking about, that can support a security infrastructure to bring that skill set that they need for, hey, you know what? I am comfortable that my managed service provider can handle my infrastructure, right? They're keeping me up to date. They're doing all my patches for me, something that I don't have to worry about. And then some of them, they can start off small and some start off big, right? Depending on what your budget at the time, they can show you, hey, for right now, this is what you can afford. But as you should be aware, over the years, you need to be budgeting for this, and this, right? These are the kind of people we like to align our with to make sure that the people we do training with are taken care of by experts, not just by someone who took an IT course and now they're coming out there. I was like, hey, I'm a cybersecurity expert. I can manage all your systems. And a lot of people do that thing of, oh yeah, that's the right price point. I'm going to come in at it. Well, cybersecurity, that right price point could be your last price point, right? So you need to think about that of, should I really spend the extra money to get it done? Or, is the cheapest that gets it's going to cheapest that, can bite you in the butt a little bit down the road because you try to go that cheap route. And that's the thing of making this thing about your budget for cybersecurity, it's not always going cheap anymore. It's really going to be something that this is not going to slow down. Cyber hacks are going on steroids. ChatGPT put this on, Hulk type status for people that were already threat actors, but also people that were getting into the space that knew nothing about it are learning in ways through technology how to be better hackers, right? Mm-hmm. AI for good, and it's also, unfortunately, there can be AI for bad, and people are leveraging it in both different ways. And this is where cybersecurity is more important than ever.
You're absolutely right. They've got these things on the dark web. It's like, dark mall you walk through, like, here's your AI hacker box, for $10.99. And so you don't have to be, the hacker doesn't have to be an expert. He just buys the package and deploys it. Unfortunately, that is happening. Now, on the good side, you also offer certifications and training for those to bulk up on their on their knowledge, right? So they can get better knowledge, better awareness, and can get certifications. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we work with Emerzi is kind of a certification through CompTIA. It allows you to take your certification classes. It even allows you to take your aptitude tests to let you know where you fit best in cybersecurity, right? In a job role and the courses you should be taking. So for us, being able to offer that, and you can do it online, or if you have a whole team, you can set up where you have everybody in the classroom. Now, a lot of people get a lot of value out of doing the classroom. We know that, and that's the best part of it because you're interacting with the instructor. But a lot of online courses are very beneficial as well, but allows you to pick the right track that's beneficial to you to get that certification that you need. And that's important because, like I talked about, CISOs are becoming like a diamond for a lot of organizations. And a lot of them, if they feel like they're not in the right place, they can easily leave now for $60,000 to $70,000 more than they're getting at some of their companies, because that's how high in demand they are. So you have to ask yourself, am I training the team that's behind or that's supporting my CISO to have the same skill set or to be able to support me if for some odd reason he decided to leave, right? The one that's holding the keys to the castle goes, I'm handing the keys over, I'm out of here. Who's the next person in line, right? It doesn't happen overnight, and you're definitely, if you ask any of your recruiting agencies out there, you're not going to find a CISO in 24 hours or 48 hours. You better look at 3 to 4 months if you're lucky to find the right one that's willing to come to your organization.
Wow. So that says a lot. So you're helping people on their cybersecurity front to get educated, to get resources, to go through scenarios and training. You also have an affiliate program in which 5-Star BDM is a part of. Describe what that is and what the benefit of that program would be for our listeners.
Well, 5-Star BDM is, they lead the way in really promoting how organizations and get their branding out there, but also the expertise in services and technology, right? That insight is huge. And a lot of people do not have that. And they rely on reliable people that know or can direct them in the right direction. And that's what a lot of people need, is this guidance of, you hear everybody say, I'm not technical. Don't talk technical to me. Everybody, you hear that all the time. Well, when it comes down to be technical, you want somebody to be technical, but also explain it in a way that you can understand. And that's the biggest thing, right? To take the technical jargon out of it and really kind of give you, here's the benefit, here's the value, here's how it's going to make you more efficient, so secure your areas and provide this kind of like value add of, okay, I have the right person that's supporting me, somebody that has my back, that understands like, hey, I don't have a large budget, or hey, I have a really small team. I need an extra person to be kind of an overwatch of, hey, are we doing everything right? Right? Because if a lot of people in organizations are wearing 2 to 3 to 4 hats, sometimes having somebody just to have an overwatch of, hey, you guys are missing something here in your organization. You could be implementing this type of technology or software to make it better. Or you could be doing your processes a little bit different. You need somebody who has the expertise, in 5-Star BDM, definitely, an organization that has that insight and has been in the industry for a while that knows that. And that's what you want, not someone that's just new on the block. I'm not saying a lot of people that are new in their careers are bad, but the ones that have kind of been through the gauntlet, I could say in the trenches for a while, those are the ones you want to have on board that really know what it was like in the past, but also knows innovative technology.
passion has been around helping communities of color and historically underrepresented and underserved communities, minority, rural, veterans, persons who are differently abled, in the intersection of education, innovation, technology, industry, and let's throw some entrepreneurship in there just for fun. See more around innovation, incubators, accelerators. I love the idea of going from innovation to commercialization.
Absolutely. And I'm definitely going to test for that. This landscape has changed dramatically in my information technology experience and expertise for the last 25 years. And what you said earlier about AI taking that extra leap and giving people the ease of use to get information in a blink of an eye. But if you utilize human intelligence, let's not get rid of the HI, the human intelligence, the awareness, and the collaborative nature. You don't have to know everything, but you need to know somebody that does know what you don't know to fill in those gaps so that, let's just say, you do get hacked. We don't want anyone to get hacked. We want to prevent that as much as possible. You want to mitigate a lot of those circumstances. So as 5-star BDM, very, very knowledgeable on the tool sets. You have to have good tools. You have to have, but it's not software only. It's deploying the software, understanding the software. You have to have the human intelligence and the resources to combat these types of forces that are happening out there. I tell people all the time, a lot of times, if something, just for instance, in a cyber hack attempt, anytime some type of, it could be email, it could be social media, is asking you to do something that's out of character.
Yes.
Because they have things like now, like, hey, I saw a likeness of John Riley III, and I heard his voice, and he told me to do this, but it sounded a little fishy, but I did it because it's John Riley III. Just remember, if it's something is asking you to do something outside of character, there's two things: trust, but verify. That is the military way. You've got to verify, and you got to have a way of verifying that information or that ask or what is happening is real, and it serves a purpose that's beneficial to both parties, because typically they're just taking advantage of people who are asleep at the wheel. Would you agree with that, John?
I agree with that 100%. Yeah, I think you brought up a good point, because I was talking about phishing emails, and one of our partners here, who's a CISO, told me a story. He was working at a company where they do this thing, and they do a thing called penetration testing. A lot of IT guys, right? So what they do is they do kind of like a mock, kind of like phishing email, where they send it out to people in the company to see if they'll click on it, right? To see how many people click on it or didn't pay attention to the training they had internally, if they had it, and seeing how many respond. So they've been doing it for 6-7 months, and everybody was doing great. And it was getting less and less people opening these emails, because a lot of the phishing emails have an urgency around them, right? Of do it now, or hey, update your password right now, or it's going to have this, and it's really kind of saying verify, right? Verify that this is from your IT team. So what they did was, for 6 or 7 months, food trucks were coming to the company every Friday, right? Every Friday is food trucks, and people love them. I mean, they'd all go out there at lunch, and they were looking forward to them every Friday was food truck day. So what they did was they made a fake food truck coupon with those company logos of the food trucks that would show up. And they said, get your free food truck coupon, only good for today. They got every single person all the way up to the CEO to click on that email. And they were like, got you. And that's how you got to think about threat actors. They're thinking of, almost from a sociologically of your mindset. What will people do? We'll switch it up. Okay, you got this down? Not a problem. What do you like? I'm going to see what you like on LinkedIn. I'm going to see what you like on social media, right? They'll start profiling and social engineering, going, oh, you kept going to this site here. You kept clicking on or liking these promotions here. Not a problem. And they'll come in that mindset of knowing we're happy, creatures of habit, right? Oh, yeah, yeah. And it used to be all free is for me. That doesn't hold true that much anymore, right? You need to think about if it's free, you're like, I don't care if it's my favorite store, favorite restaurant, give me $100 coupon, for my best surf and turf. You need to think twice now, right? You're like, okay. And when he said that, it opened my eyes because I was like, wow. Because you don't think it's muscle memory. You're like, oh, yeah. Wow. Every Friday they're here. Oh, the company must have set this up to give us a free coupon, right? The company must have sent this out as a free coupon. Got you, right? So 100%. Thinking about things as you go through and you get emails, you see these things come through, it's that type of awareness, right? And this is where having cybersecurity training awareness is huge, but the continuation of it, right? It's not just a one and done thing of, hey, I'll take this course and I'm done. It's consistent because cybersecurity has been changing faster and faster, almost like technology. Every month is something new. Every month is a new type of a hack or somehow they got in, right? And it's really that going, okay, your incident response plan that you set up and tested in January might not work by the time it's December, right? Think about that. Think about when ChatGPT came out, right? The world went crazy, like, oh my God, right? There wasn't a thing about 6 months before, and whatever plans were there, once it came out, it put hackers and threat actors on steroids, right? So whatever was in place before is now obsolete. Now you have to think from a different mindset of, wow, they could be doing this and that with AI. And it's continually trying to be like, how do we keep this at the forefront of building a culture this way? And it's not easy because, in the industry, with digital transformation, a culture change in an organization, it's not an easy process, like turning the Titanic. And you need that time to continually hammer away at the messaging and leading it. And it comes from the top, right? Because if it's not being steered in that direction of, here it is, it's not stopping. By the way, cybersecurity and hacks are happening daily, secondly, right? And a lot of it, you look in the industry, it's your competitors getting hacked. And look at South Florida healthcare, right? We're a huge cyber attacks on healthcare down here, and that's huge, right? And that doesn't stop. So you got to be thinking of, for my healthcare organization, I do need to be more and more aware of this. I can no longer have a blind eye of my IT team will tell me if something's wrong. I need to be in the weeds with it.
Now, what you're saying there, and what I've noticed is that a lot of organizations, they will have what you call cybersecurity awareness training for their employees, maybe once, twice a year. That's not going to get it done. If you're not getting, I would say, an email of something from a trusted, verified source talking to you about the potential hacks that are out there, the emails that are happening, because of the collaborative fabric, we have to share the information like, oh, wow, oh, yeah, I heard about this. And now I know about this, to your point earlier, because everybody didn't open an email at the same time, but all of a sudden it started happening. Someone should be getting alerts, right? And then whoever got those alerts, that information's got to get out to the population as quickly as possible to shut these things down. So awareness is definitely our key when it comes to social engineering and peaking the human intelligence versus the artificial intelligence. So it's HI plus AI against AI.
Yeah, pretty much. Right. That's the easiest way to explain it, right? Just to make it make sense. And it's kind of this circle, right? And it doesn't stop. And you look at how things are going, that technology, they used to say it moves every 2 years, right? If you're paying attention, it's every 6 months,
Yeah,
right?
six
And
months.
AI is making it even faster for technology to speed up, right? So this is where we're at, right? This is where it's not slowing down. Every day when you wake up, you're hearing about a new innovation, right? There are a lot of innovative things going on that are moving faster because of AI, right? I mean, I like to think, look at, look at COVID, right? When it came to the vaccines, it used to take what, 5, 6 years
Oh yeah.
for the FDA to approve a vaccine. Technology made them do it in months, right? Think about that. Months, where the standard was 6 years to get sign off. 6 years. But when urgency hits, boom, technology steps in and you're like, oh, wow, we actually got it done in 6 months and got approved, signed off on. That's what's happening, right? And that's just telling you that's what things are capable of now. What took 6 years, efficiently brought it to 6 months. People weren't even having that mindset at all, thinking that was even possible. But you put people in a tight situation where technology can help out and be innovative. Here it is, right? So think about that, because your cybersecurity awareness is huge to be up to date on it consistently. And this is where, you talked about earlier, Rand, is these managed service providers we work along with, like 5-Star BDM and everybody else. They bring this experience of, hey, here's the update of things you need to be aware of. Here's a new cyber attack that happened in your industry you should be aware of. It's just keeping you abreast of an organization of what's going on, right? Because even if you don't have the time, have these experts around that you can get this information from on a weekly or daily basis, going, oh, by the way, so-and-so in healthcare, this just happened down the road from you. They just shut down this place and they can't even get access to their files or x-rays for their patients, right? I mean, this is telling you, this is right around your corner, right?
Yeah.
That's what you need, right? They need a consistent awareness of somebody that's supporting them, giving them the information of, hey, I didn't hear about this. I didn't hear about that. Well, have a team that's going to be keeping you abreast of, wow, that organization got hit. We do the same thing they do. Okay. And that's how it happens.
That's how it happens, and it's easily done. I just wrote an ebook, put it out there on Amazon, so you can go to Kindle, on AI and ML and the duality, the dance of duality in cybersecurity.
Yeah.
$5. I said, people, it's there. It's there.
Yeah.
But read it. You have to read it. You need to understand the landscape of what is happening. And I think if you work with John, you work with myself, you start working with the Levon Center, the cyber range, you're going to get a depth of protection that you never had before. You're going to be more and more aware. And because of that, this is another thing. Hackers don't like a lot of resistance. They're not going to sit there and kind of drill. Like, there's too many other places to go. I'm going to go after the path of least resistance. So you want to be on that other side.
Yeah. And I think you bring up a good point there, right? It's that, well, cybersecurity experts, cyber threat actors only have to be correct once, just once. The experts have to be on their A game, almost like the Super Bowl, every single day, right? There's the stress when it comes to these people in this industry, right? These CISOs that are being hammered every day, they have to be on their A game every day to make sure nothing happens. These hackers, they can sit back and just, oh, let's try this one. Well, let's try that. Let's try this. And once one gets through, all right, I'm good. I'm golden, right? I got my ransomware attack. I got my payment, and that's it, right? Cybersecurity experts need to be on their A game almost every day. And for them, it's a very stressful industry. And it's such a needed place for highly skilled individuals to get training on, to make sure they are prepared and feel comfortable that they can handle an attack. And that's the biggest thing, And a lot of, I think, experts out there, some of the reports are showing CISOs aren't allowed to get enough training, they feel, to make sure they feel comfortable addressing a cyber attack or a data breach, right? Because a lot of them, I got pushed into that position, some of them by chance. Okay, you're the most experienced person here, you're going to handle that, right? But at the same time, it's like sending them off to war and you're not giving them bullets for their gun.
Oh, yeah, you're not prepared.
That's what it's coming down to.
Well, what you said there is where we're at. The Levon Center, the cyber range, is here to prepare you, to get you that training so that you're ready and willing and able to defend yourself and continue to do what you really do. And that's the business that you're into. This is great. So, John, tell us how to get in touch with you.
Sure. You can reach me at the Levanter and Cyber Range. My email is jriley, RILEY at nova.edu. And also you can connect with me on LinkedIn as well.
This is wonderful. This is wonderful. And I can tell your entire audience and everybody at the Levon Innovation Center, they can contact me at 5-Star BDM. That is B for brand, D for development, infomasters.com. I am ready, willing, and able to help anyone with cybersecurity challenges. Thank you for being on the show, John.
Thank you, Grant. Have a great one.
Follow the Brand TV broadcast host, Grant McGaw, as he visits with top executives and entrepreneurs to find out their secrets of success with their personal brand. Follow the Brand TV broadcast host as he focuses on brand development to build better relationships, bring value to your business, relationships, and career. You will enjoy listening to each episode that is tailored to speak to you directly. If you're looking for this type of clarity in terms of building your brand, you have tuned into the right station. Each episode will help you to shape a conversation in the 5-Star BDM network of 20,000 professionals and become a springboard for your corporate engagement and business opportunities. Each guest will frame their story in the areas of personal branding, business development, career development, financial empowerment, and technology innovation. Grant McGaw explains why he is the CEO and owner of his own professional career. Grant is an accomplished business leader and entrepreneur who wants to give back to individuals to grow their personal brand strategy. Tune in as he weaves his story about new possibilities, while to you exceed expectations. If you love storytelling, this show will make for fun.
Tune in for our next show or click on our website at www.5starbdm/followthebrandtv. Thank you. Hey everyone, it's Grant McGaw, CEO of 5-Star BDM and host of the award-winning Follow the Brand podcast and TV series, where I help you to build a 5-star brand that people will follow. My genius is personal brand development through intelligent communication and helping you achieve your business and career goals. I am a requested speaker on digital technology and brand development issues. I want to work with you to increase the value of your current opportunities while attracting new ones. Every one of you is unique, and we all share challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. As a super connector, I work with you as an executive coach to guide you along the complicated business and career development road, providing the enhancement tools and information you need to succeed. Together, I will help you succeed in today's challenging business climate. I will evaluate and measure your progress. Best of all, I am right alongside you every step of the way. Build the brand called you.